district governor, lieutenant governor, and area and division governors. Whenever I'm asked to come and talk to a group of Toastmasters, especially after getting elected, the same topic comes over and over again, and that is the journey to Toastmasters International and the journey to become an international director. And whenever I was coming here and I knew that I will be talking to you, I thought, I'm going to take this opportunity to talk to you about getting to international director in a different way. So it's not about Toastmasters, it's not about getting through president to area governor to division governor and all these positions and so on. It's actually about opportunities, because that is what I'd like to answer that. The answer is yes. Until they started communicating and then they stopped being leaders. You see, in my life, I have found out that communication and leadership go hand in hand. There is nothing which is more important than the other. Both are important, but one comes before the other. And in my opinion, communication comes before leadership. You become a good communicator, and therefore you become a good leader. Now, there are bad leaders also. They are not good communicators. So for you to become a good leader, you have to be a good communicator. And that is the opportunity I took whenever I joined Toastmasters in 1996. And that was because a single person asked me to become a guest of a Toastmaster meeting in 1996. His name was William Sampson. He was the Vice President Education for the Dubai chapter at that time. And he said, come to a Toastmaster club. I came to a Toastmaster club and left that Toastmaster meeting, and I thought nothing about it. Just forgot about it. It was a meeting. I spent some time, 2 hours there, and left. After 3 months, he sees me again. And he said, why don't you come to the meeting again? I think about it a little bit, and I say, okay, I'll come there. I came to that meeting, and in that meeting, I was asked to do table topics as a guest. and you know, table topics was something which was very new to me. It was nerve-wracking and so on. So I spoke, and at the end, they called my name and they gave me a little trophy saying, you are the best table topic speaker for this evening. And guess what happened? I signed up as a member at the end of the day. Later, I found out that all the table topics are rigged. So all the guests get the trophies, whatever they are the best speakers. That's a good practice, actually, in your class also, if you want guests to become members. So, you know, a small opportunity comes in the form of one person coming to me and telling me, come to a meeting, which I never knew what it was about, and who are the people in it, and what is going to be the repercussions of attending that meeting. Well, that small incident got me to become the international director of Toastmasters International, going through all the phases. Now imagine if that incident had not happened. Probably I would have been working in the police like I was working in the police for 20 years, but probably I wouldn't have actually asked for voluntary retirement. Because after I finished 20 years, I asked for voluntary retirement in 2003. And what gave me the courage to do that? I'd say a big part of it is attributed to Toastmasters. Life is full of opportunities. It depends which one you pick. It depends whether you see them in front of you or not. It depends whether you work towards them actively or not. It depends whether you have the forces behind you to take up the opportunities or not. Because your families are an important force. and they can actually make you or break you. It depends on what opportunities you take. Your friends in Toastmasters are a driving force behind you. Because if Lloyd is running for the district champion of public speaking, and there are no mentors behind him, and there are no people who can guide him as to what is the preference of the audience, because you and you and you are part of the audience which will be listening to Lloyd, Lloyd wouldn't become a champion. So who are the driving forces behind you that you can identify and win their support in order to support you in developing yourself? That is what opportunities are about. Where are they? How do you actually benefit from them? Because opportunities can be good, but at the same time, opportunities can be bad. I had a friend who, when I was in the police, I had a friend who was a corporal. A corporal is after the first rank, so it's the second rank from below, from the lower ranks of police. And I was at that time a captain. So that was around 5 or 6 ranks higher than this guy. His name was Yusuf. And Yusuf was actually working as a driver in the police. He was a UAE national working as a driver because he had no education at all. And you will be interested to link whatever I'm saying to all the 4 topics which were actually debated, and you will see what is my point of opinion on the 4 topics. Now, he was not educated. And what had happened at that time, this was around, I think around 10 or 12 years ago, that the mobiles were picking up momentum. You know, the mobiles were changing hands. There were people who wanted to buy new mobiles as soon as the mobiles came up, the new models came up, and so on. So Yusuf actually took opportunity of this phase in order for him to buy and sell used mobiles. So he went around the police offices and his friends and so on, and he actually bought the mobiles which were not wanted, and he actually sold the mobiles to other people who could not afford the new ones and so on. So one day he comes up to me and he says, I have an idea. So I said, what's the idea? He said, I have an idea to open a used mobile outlet, shop. I will have a shop, a formal shop for me to buy and sell mobiles. So I said, okay, that might be a good idea. He said, would you become partners with me? And I looked at him, I said, corporal, talking to captain, partners. I thought about it, I said, this is not happening. I want to get rid of this guy. He told me, I asked him, how much would the investment be? He said, I'll put 15,000 dirhams and you put 15,000 dirhams. I thought about it and I needed to sneak my way out. So I told him, Yusuf, I have 10,000 dirhams. You can either take it or leave it. And he left it. And went on to start his own used mobile shop. That is the opportunity that Yusuf took. And after a year of him opening the mobile shop, he quit the police. And he ran his own business. Small opportunities. It depends what do you do with them. The opportunities are like doors. Sometimes you can open up some of them. Sometimes you can close some of them. And it depends what is behind them. I was around 8 years old, and we went to my grandmother's house. And with my grandmother was living my uncle. So we were sitting in the hall, and suddenly, this was the new house that they had actually moved in. Suddenly we hear shouts. From where?